All right, thank you. So we have a big picture look of HIPAA for 2017 coming up. You should have in front of you slides. I don't know if you've printed them out or if you're looking at them on your computers, but in the bottom right-hand corner you'll see a number, and I will do my best to clarify which slide I'm on every time I switch slides from my end. So let's begin. I'm going to slide 2, and I'm going to talk about myself for a second. Of course, this is I am John Brewer. I'm an IT professional. I'm a HIPAA expert, and on my website, if you go to medtechusa.com/webinar, there's a form where you can put in your name and your email address, and I will put you on a list where I send out updates, news tidbits that are interesting as they apply to HIPAA compliance. Also, for those that are on this webinar, I will be sending a couple items that if you are on the call at the end, you'll have access to a couple items that I'll give out and a coupon code for purchasing. Let's see, Black Friday went by. Yesterday was Cyber Monday. I guess we'll call this Terrific Tuesday or something like that. So a little bit about myself. I was in the Air Force for quite a while. I was a pilot in the Air Force. I was also a computer security officer there. I left the Air Force and started getting into IT support. In that opportunity, we also got into EHR selection with medical practices. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a physician. So a little more detailed on my Air Force background. So I flew for practically my entire Air Force career, along with being a computer security officer. Those two things just got me in tune with and dealing with rules and regulations, and I think that that is part of what made diving into the HIPAA regulations basically second nature for me as they came over the horizon. On the IT support side of things, we started an IT business where we mostly, most of our clients were either medical offices or law firms. And as mentioned, with our medical clients and HIPAA compliance coming along, we decided we need to make sure our clients were in operating in a HIPAA compliant manner. And through that process, we discovered that nobody really knew what was going on as far as HIPAA compliance was concerned. Again, we did get heavily into EHR selection and implementation. As those of you that are on an EHR know, that is not a fun process, and if you can never do it again, I'm sure that would be your choice to never do it again. We also have dealt a lot with meaningful use, since meaningful use and HIPAA compliance somewhat go hand in hand. At least meaningful use is pushing you into HIPAA compliance. And look, there I am. All right, today's topic, HIPAA in 2017. So we've got a giant list of things that we're going to cover. Since it's such a huge list of things, we're going to be looking at this at a high level. Some things I'll get a little more detailed into as I go off on tangents and some stories that I have of real-world situations. But for the most part, this is going to touch on multiple items and give you guys things to think about and understandings of what should be focused on as far as HIPAA compliance goes in your practice. And I want to clarify, this is not the coding or billing side of HIPAA compliance. This is the patient health information side of HIPAA compliance. Sometimes those get slightly confused. So the big picture of HIPAA. I did not make any of this up. The sooner that you accept what this is, the sooner you'll be able to move on and be happy. We try to make this as simple as possible so that you can implement it and focus on your patients and not these crazy rules. It's a risk and reward situation. There's what the rules say, and then there's what you really should be doing. And that's not to say you shouldn't be doing what the rules say, but many times you need to expand on it. For instance, as we'll get into here momentarily, most of the HIPAA regulations talk about ePHI or electronic PHI. Well, the reality is paper copies of records are just as important and have to be handled in the exact same way. So you could make the argument that well, we only have to worry about electronic stuff, but that's not going to work for you. That's not something that you can win in the argument in, because your paper records have to be protected also.